Yes. So how's the assessment of the Western Distributor proceeding?
Thank you, Senator. So that's another one where we're in the middle of a process of toing and froing with the Victorian government. Normal process of doing our due diligence, reviewing the business case, asking questions, getting the answers, and then so on.
So can you tell me, and maybe you will again need to take this on notice, as to what documents you've requested or been provided from the Victorian government to help with your assessment?
I might refer
Senator,
to...
we could take on notice the documents that we've been provided. Again, it's quite a long list of documents.
Yep. And others that you have are there documents that you've requested that you haven't been provided with?
Senator, as we've discussed in this forum and by correspondence previously, we have requested peer reviews of the Western Distributor project. The Victorian government has not forwarded those to us. We do not have those.
So you have requested them. Actually, your letter to me said that you hadn't, or the answer to the question on notice said that you hadn't requested them.
The answer to the question on notice preceded the letter,
right,
which is why they have different responses.
Okay, so you have now requested them. So has the Victorian government refused to provide them, or has just not responded?
I think refused is a strong word. I would say that they have not provided them.
So is this of concern to you?
Senator, as Mr Davies said before, peer reviews are of interest. They're not fundamental to our assessment. We don't require them in order to complete our assessment. We appreciate the opportunity to review them when we have them.
So tell me what you know about these peer reviews.
Senator, we've not seen them. We don't know anything about them.
Do you know the name of the who undertook the reviews?
No, Senator, we do not.
And have you been following the case by my colleague in the Victorian Parliament, Colleen Hartland, the member for Western Metropolitan, who has had a case in VCAT, Victorian Civil Appeals Tribunal, to try and be accessing documents relating to the Western Distributor?
I'm sorry, Senator, I haven't followed that case.
Okay, she's been attempting to get the redacted parts of the business case, including the transport and economic modelling. So are those documents that have been redacted, from the public business case that Ms Hartland has been attempting to get? Do you know whether you have been provided with those documents?
Senator, in terms of we don't outside of the complete business case and any normal supporting documents, we're often relying on the proponent, whoever it is on a project, to provide us with relevant materials. As I mentioned, we look at that. On occasion, we request additional information. That isn't usually targeting a specific document. It's occasionally provided in a document that we perhaps didn't know existed. So we don't know what it's more directing the questions and getting the answers to the questions rather than targeting specific documents which we're unaware of.
So is it a concern to you that there are documents that you don't even know exist, so that would be relevant to your assessment?
Well, in terms of it comes back to one of the earlier points, Senator, that the broader planning of a transport system in any one of our cities or anywhere for that matter is a matter for the jurisdictional government, and there will necessarily be a whole suite of investments that they'll be planning and projects they'll be planning that come together to provide the overall transport solution. Therefore, there's many documents that we don't get to see.
I know that you're strong proponents of sort of open, transparent, accountable assessment of projects. So, to me, it would seem to be something that Infrastructure Australia should be advocating for at least to be told that there are documents relevant to your assessment, and not to have to go, scrabbling for them.
Again, Senator, we'll ask the questions and often be provided with supporting documents as the proponent sees fit.
In particular, with the transport and economic modelling of the Western Distributor, there have been serious criticisms made of it from as much information as is in the public realm, and there is a lot that is not in the public realm. Particularly, the City of Melbourne has made the criticism that the transport modelling seems to stop at the edge of the city and doesn't take account of the impacts on traffic as it moves into the Melbourne CBD. And Another criticism that's been made is that the benefit cost ratio seems to be inflated in the project that's put to the public project as it's proposed, because it's including the Monash Freeway as part of a project where they could be considered as two quite discrete projects. Given that level of criticism that has been made, I mean, and that a lot of the critical information obviously you still don't have, is, how can you be undertaking a thorough assessment, because you don't do your own transport modelling? You've told me that in previous estimates. So it's verging on negligent, it seems to me, that if there's critical information that's being hidden from the public, it's apparently being hidden from you, as to how a proper assessment of the project can be done.
So again, Senator, we're doing our due diligence. We identify gaps in perhaps our understanding often, or from the information provided, or indeed data, and that's the basis of the often long period of time of toing and froing with the jurisdiction to get the information we need to do our assessment. So we're right in the middle of that process at the moment on this particular project. So and this is normal for us, that we have this toing and froing.
So is it of concern to you that you don't have the full transport modelling and the full economic modelling that has been done for the Western Distributor? In doing your due diligence, does that impact upon the level of, the quality of the assessment that you can do?
We continuously to and fro until we've got the information that we feel is necessary to complete our due diligence.
Can we just clarify, Senator, that we wouldn't say that we don't have all of the economic modelling material or transport modelling material that's relevant for the assessment? You're correct, there may be other documents out there that we've not seen. That doesn't mean that we don't have everything that we do need. That assessment is still underway.
So you do, if you could list for me all the documents that you do have. In particular, there are documents that are publicly known that aren't available, that have been redacted from the business case, and then there are these independent peer reviews that weren't even listed as having been undertaken. So if you could list for me all the documents that you do have and the documents that you have requested, that would be valuable.
Yes, Senator.
There's another criticism that's been put to me of the project, and I'm wondering how you are considering it. And it's detailed. I'm loath to get into too much of the detail, but it's detailed in attachment J of the economic modelling, looking at sort of the cost-benefit analysis, and it's regarding the inclusion of an unusual extra benefit of the road, and that's the extra value that it said people will give to travelling in uncongested traffic. So it's the travel time benefits for travel time savings from reduced traffic congestion. And do you know about this particular aspect of one of the economic benefits that's been included in this business case, in the economic modelling?
In broad terms, Senator, I'd be loath to make reference to that specific attribute, since I've already made an assumption which proved to be incorrect on WestConnex.
Right. So look, I've been told that the consideration of this benefit hasn't been used in Australian projects before, and it's not standard practice, and yet it makes up 10% of the economic benefits of the road.
Senator, it is standard practice to include travel time savings.
Yes, but this is an extra benefit. It's not just travel time saving. It's the extra benefit that people are said to give. It's the top-up value if they're travelling on a road that's uncongested.
We'd have to have a look at that and take that on notice, Senator.
If you could take that on notice and tell me about what your assessment as to whether this would be appropriate, is an appropriate thing to use in an economic assessment.
So, if I may, Senator, as part of our overall assessment, that's obviously part of the work that we're still to complete. So we'd be looking at that as part of our due diligence. I would appreciate your feedback on to whether you think that this is an appropriate
benefit because it includes, I'm told it's not been used before. It's 10% of the benefits of the project. If you didn't include it, it reduces the benefit-cost ratio very significantly. I'm told probably down from the 1.3 down to about 1.1. And given all of these concerns, and I'm just again returned to, I'm presuming that the independent peer review would have covered, would have looked at these things. So I return to, what you feel the value to you would be to actually see what the independent peer reviewers had made of such concerns about the transport and the economic modelling.
So once again, Senator, it's our role as an independent advisor to governments is to do our own peer review, and that's very much what we do. That's why these assessments take a period of time. We don't have access to a whole state government's library, so there is a necessary toing and froing with the jurisdictional proponent to seek answers to all the questions we've got as part of our peer review. It's a completely normal process.
Senator Royce, you might seek a juncture that we might be able to transition.
I'll leave that there. Actually, just one thing. In response to your question when we were talking about Melbourne Metro, and you said you knew of the KPMG economic peer review, but not of the peer review that was done by John Allard. So, will you be requesting that peer review?
Senator, as indicated, we're trying to move that evaluation towards its conclusion. We'd have to consider whether we needed any additional information to be able to finalise that.
So, can you take on notice then whether you would be requesting that peer review?
Senator, as I said, we would only request that peer review if we thought there was...
that what has been released, that was released under a Freedom of Information request to my colleague, Ms Hartland. So, I'd put it to you that might be valuable to you to include in your assessment.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Royce.